Good afternoon, Flosstube. My name is Mandy and welcome to my channel about cross stitch. Today we've got a little bit something completely different. I decided that I am going to film a mid-year WIP parade. So this is all of the projects that I have worked on throughout the entire, first half of the year so far. So I don't have any haul today. I do have one FFO that I want to share because I just got it back not too long ago, or since my last video, and so I just decided that I do want to go ahead and show that. But otherwise, this is going to be our mid-year WIP parade. So I am off today. I don't know if I said, but today is Friday, July 15th, and it is my birthday. So I took the day off of work, and I went to breakfast with my mom this morning. I've got dinner plans with my best friend Crystal, and so spending the afternoon stitching, and I had great plans to do this today. And then of course of all days I get up and maintenance crew is, I live in an apartment complex, so maintenance crew is repairing a balcony, like right outside my patio door. It seems like they are out to lunch at the moment, so I'm hoping I can get this in while they're gone. So because while they weren't, super loud, I mean, it's construction, so you're gonna hear the saws and whatnot. So I'm hoping that I can get this completed while they're away. And so for one, I didn't want them to hear me talking to myself, but then also I don't want you guys to hear the saws and such. So let's go ahead and dive into it, shall we? I'm gonna try not to talk super fast. I already feel like I'm talking a mile a minute. But like I said, I am on a little bit of a time crunch, then I'm hoping I can get this done before they get back. So the FFO that I want to share, I finished this as a finished object. I think I finished it back in May, and I took it to Michael's. I had a rewards voucher that was about to expire at the beginning of July, and so I wanted to go ahead and use it up. So what they offer, an amazing service that they offer, of course they do the custom framing with mats and all of that good stuff, but you can also buy a pre-made frame from the shelves at the store and then take your piece to them. They stretch it and pin it, or I guess pinning it around a piece of foam core or whatever it is, and then they'll assemble it all together for you into that pre-purchased frame for a minimal cost. So I got this framed. Well, I had the voucher, so that pretty much covered the cost of the frame itself. Actually, that voucher pretty much covered the cost of the services of assembling it. And then I had the cost of the frame. There was a coupon. So out of pocket, in fact, they also had a buy one, get one free frame that day. So I got the other frame for free. Got some DMC. So I think I walked out the door $15 out of pocket for this with that voucher. So it was a great deal. But we're finished today. I just realized I don't have my ring light on. Well, that's weird. Ah, I see why. It got unplugged. Let's try this again, shall we? Technical difficulties. There we go. See if that might help a little bit. So, trying to get the reflection in there. But this is Park Hopper Bart's Spooky Black Cats and Spooky Bats. Bring it in there. This was such a fun piece to stitch. It was stitched with Leo and Roxy floss. I bought the fancy black cat bag and everything from Evertote. They had a combo deal type of thing package last fall, and black cats I had to get. So it's just a basic black frame that I got from, like I said, I got it from the shelving, but what a normal frame looks like, store-bought, where it's got the little fold-out thing that you can have sitting on a table, just a little cardboard thing. Well, they assemble it for you, so they put their hardware on it. They even have the little stoppers. I added Kim's Antiques sticker with all of the details on it. Those project stickers were in a cross stitch box. It was this some Autumn and Stars Hollow Black Nickel Society box, and It says at the very bottom, you break, you buy, because that was a Mrs. Kim's famous saying. So, Gilmore Girls books. But it's awesome because, you know, they've got your hardware. So this is all ready to go on my wall. So I love their framing in general. They have done an amazing job with the professional framing. That fractal is framed from there. My eagles, the dragon I just showed not that long ago. So I'm very happy with their framing. And so since I found that they will, you know, assemble stuff for you even with a pre-purchase frame, is awesome. Because like I told them, no way would I have been able to get all of those lines, you know, the boxes and everything straight. So fabric was a 16 count fennel seed from Coloring Cotton. Alrighty, let's move on to the WIP, shall we? Because that's what we're here for, is a WIP parade. First one that I'm going to show today is my 2022 New Year New Start Northern Expression Needleworks. So it's Twisted Rainbow Sampler. So I love this design. This is the traditional full cross stitch version. They do have a specialty stitch version, but I chose to go with just the basic full crosses. I am stitching this on a piece of 16 count Witchelt. It's a gray. I forget now the name of it. I don't remember the name of it. But here we go. It is still on my scroll frames. This is a great way. I've really gotten comfortable with using this. I've been able to learn how to do two-handed stitching with this. I don't have a lap stand or anything of that nature, but I use a, well, you can see one here, TV tray thing, that I'll brace it against that and then be able to two-hand stitch. I have not yet worked on this since, but a couple weeks ago I found that this is available in PDF. So I had been gifted the, you know, paper pattern, but when I found that it was on PDF, and because I am using the regular cross stitch version, PK, Pattern Keeper. So I'm very excited about getting back to this again because of being able to use Pattern Keeper. That really is a game changer. So here we are. So like I said, it's all full crosses. I know from what I've seen before from other people, it's like this band here in the corner, and then like this one would have been in specialty stitches, just all crosses. I love this piece. I love the colors, and I cannot wait to get into like the pinks and the purples and all that good stuff. Alrighty, I haven't counted today. I didn't go through my list, but as I was pulling everything, last time I counted, I mean, in general, I'm over 20 WIPs, but I know there's a few pieces that I'm not showing today, so we got quite a few today. There's actually a few here that I really would like to actually get focused on getting finished because they've been lingering on my WIP list far too long. One of my favorites that I'm working on, Lindsey Stitches, Beautiful Things. Oh my darling, it's true. Beautiful things have dents and scratches too. I love this design. Have not worked on this one in a little while. Last time I shared it, I got all of the words done. And that's where we're at. So all of the words are done. So next time I pick it up, I'll get moving into the border. 16 count Bestitch Me, and I can never remember the name of this one. The fabric, I don't remember the color name. If you want to know, drop a comment and I can make sure to look in my project bag. I just pulled all of the project bags out of or the projects out of the project bags to get filming. Once I realized that the noises had stopped with the construction, it dawned on me, let's get moving. So so I just basically pulled enough to pull the patterns and the projects themselves. So next piece that I'm going to share is one that I started this year. This is a temperature bookshelf, temperature bookcase. I don't remember, temperature something or other. It is from Christie's Corner Needleworks on Etsy. I believe it's on Etsy. I bought it on Etsy. She might have a website too. So if you haven't seen these before, temperature bookshelf, So the entire shelf, or well, bookcase represents the entire year. Each shelf represents a month. Each book represents a day. So if you have been with me here before, you would have seen it. If you've been with me long, you would have seen that I frogged it. I started it, was not happy with the temperature range colors that I went with, decided to frog it because of particularly the bookshelves themselves are kind of a lot of work, plus I had a doodad I didn't want to get rid of, so excuse me, itchy eye. So I decided to frog the few shelves that I have and restarted it. So here we are now. I have the January shelf done. I still have one more little doodad to put in here. Not sure exactly what I'm gonna do. So I did stitch, reason why I really didn't want to scrap this whole project is my little Stitches doodad. Is she not perfect or what? If you are new to my channel, I have a black cat. Her name is Stitches. Get a little comfortable here. I am sitting on the floor. She is currently crashed out on her cat tree. So, yep. So the January shelf is done, and we will get back to adding in more stitches there. This is on a piece of 16 count Picture This Plus in Regency. And that piece of material is like the perfect material for that project, so another reason why I didn't want to frog it. Next piece, another favorite of mine, Moonshine Silver Creek Samplers. Love this one. I started this one for my birthday last year. The moon said to me, "Do not wait to be whole, to let your light shine from the depths of your soul." It's that saying. It is all about that saying. That is for sure. This is on an 18 count Bestitch Me in Artemis, I do believe. And here we go. So I need to finish up the moon, finish up the girl. There's a couple little swirly doodads, and then this piece will be done. I know seems like I shared this once before, and I was like, I want to, you know, try to turn this into like a weekly focus piece or something because I want to get it done, and I've not done that yet. I did mess up in the moon, and so it has taken quite a bit to, it's kind of been in timeout as a result of that, because I debated, do I want to frog this moon, because where I went wrong was somewhere over here. I stitched all the way up and around, so I think I'm just gonna fudge my way through it. With it being so filled with white and craters, it's not gonna be that big of an issue. Hopefully the girl itself won't have to be fudged at all, but for the most part I think it's just gonna be the moon itself. Love this piece. I have not decided if I'm going to have a new start today or not. I guess I really didn't have any intentions to do so. I mean, the day is not over yet, so anything is possible, right? Excuse me, but I have an itchy eye. Oh, goodness. I'm so sorry. Next piece, Stone Street Stitchworks, and this one is called Book House. I lived in books more than I lived anywhere else, which is quite true because I have lived in 2 different states, one of which I moved out of when I was 3 and have not gone back to it, and then, you know, a couple different houses here in town, but that's about it. So, love this piece. Another one that it's lingering and I don't know why. This is on a piece of 16 count Cream Ada, just, I don't know if it was whatever the orange band is, which else? Just a basic cream. So that beast of a house is done, that tree is done, so I just have to do the other tree and the words. So again, if I can make this a focus piece, what I need to do is 25/7 this. I did that on a piece that I finished. I remember doing that challenge on simplicity, got that piece finished. And then I picked it up again, decided to focus on a full coverage piece for a month, I knew I wasn't planning on, you know, the piece was not going to be anywhere near finished. But then I got burned out on that piece. I haven't picked up that piece since then, and I haven't started another 25/7, so who knows. Stitch what you want when you want, right? So next piece, Satsuma Street Halloween cat. I adore this piece. I've actually been working on this this month. So July in the group Semi-Sane Stitchers has a bit of a challenge thing going on. There's 4 different projects, and so they're spinning a wheel. It's kind of loosely based on the game Uno, so I've actually gotten quite a bit of work on this. So, this is stitched on a piece of 16 count Bestitch Me in, we're gonna see if I can say it this time, anemone. Anemone? There we go, anemone. I struggle over that word all the time. Anemone. I love this purple. I love this piece. So since I would have shared this last year, because I really just picked this up for the first time at the beginning of this month, I have worked, this whole tree is done. There's a little, no, that's all done. So this whole tree is filled in, and then I've been working on the cattail. So I still have the moon to finish up here, and then pumpkins and other trees and all that good stuff. So loving this piece. This is such a cool one to work on. Great color blocking, especially for this little game project, to be able to stitch 100 or 200 stitches at a time. So anything to do with black cats, I love them. And my needle minder, again, black cats. Every stitch you make, every skein you take, every strand you break, I'll be watching you. I love my black cats. Not that I'm, you know, partial to black cats or anything like that. Alrighty, next piece that I'm going to share. This is the first Mill Hill kit that I started. So it is one of those buttons and beads kits. It is a stand dollar. Have only worked on this a couple of times. So that's where we're at so far. So it is stitched on the perforated paper. I'm using the whole, you know, called for kit and everything. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to get the beads in. It's certainly going to be very sparkly. There's lots of beads. But this is definitely one of those ones of, I should learn to just, you know, put in a strand a day or something of that nature type of thing too, because perforated paper definitely is something that, you know, eyes can only take so much of. Excuse me while I scratch the eye that is getting in the way. Another Lindsey Stitches. We've got We 3, because black cats. If I have not already said, black cats enough. When shall we 3 meet again in thunder, lightning, or in rain? So I am not using the called for color, but I did have something in my stash that was very close to it. So this is just one of those, it is a 14 count, very rare for me to stitch on 14 anymore. I want to say it's like the Charles Craft or the DMC, like the tubes, the materials you get in a tube at Joann's or whatever. So I got 2 cats done and a little bit of the bottom border. I know this is on a WIP Go project for, I don't know, just the goal of work, you know, focusing on it for a week or something of that nature. So I've got a few days in on it this so far this year. I know last time I picked it up, a couple times I worked on it, was finishing up this cat and then working on that banner. So this material is quite stiff. I used fray check for the edges. I don't use fray check very often, and it's a little crunchy. So just something for my own stash, you know, something to stitch because I love it. And when I love the design, and so it was just one of those things of when I went to go start working on it, I'm like, I've got the perfect material for that. Even though it's not called for, it's pretty damn near close. Next project, Halloween Quaker, Lila's Studio, excuse me. I was working on this for a while on a few Quaker Zooms with Michelle Bendy. She has finished hers. That's why she was doing the sales. Hers is gorgeous, and I love this piece. This is stitched on a piece of Picture This Plus in J-A-Y. So it's called for murky. I couldn't get murky at the time of getting materials. It's gonna be quite a big size. No set plans on getting it finished or anything, but that whole section is pretty much all done. Of course, I still have to finish Happy Halloween, put in the spider webs on this motif here, and then start onto other ones. But all of the motifs besides the Happy Halloween and the spider webs, those are all done. More birds will go in there, but this little town was so fun to stitch. I loved stitching that. It was a lot of work, but it looks so good in the end. So a piece that I started this year because I felt like the spring was the great time to start it. I think I've stitched on it 2, maybe 3 times, so I don't have a whole lot of work done on it. But I love the colors for it, so Country Cottage Needleworks, Spring Birds. And I pulled threads from my Color and Cotton. I didn't pull the threads over here, but I just kind of went for similar shades to what is called for. It was my own conversion type of thing. It was, oh, this color will look good for that, you know, just kind of eyeballing things, getting similar shades. So this is stitched on a piece of 18, I think, count Color and Cotton. It's a grab bag, so I don't know the color name or anything, but it's a gorgeous gray. So it's gonna be a small piece. It'll be great in a little frame or in my stitching journal or something. So I have one house almost done and then start on another. So those are Color and Cotton threads. It's amazing how quickly I'm going through all of these projects. The last video that I did, I talked a lot apparently, and that that video was like 50 minutes long, and it took 2 days to upload. I could not believe it. I kept on looking like it got stuck, and so I would delete the upload, try it again multiple times, wasn't working. I went off of the Wi-Fi thinking maybe just being on my regular data will zip it through. Didn't work. Finally the next morning, like Sunday morning, I tried it again. Still took almost an hour, but finally it got posted. But I don't know if it was the length of the movie. I just keep calling it a movie like I'm a movie star. I don't know if it was the length of the video or what, but it took forever to upload. So fingers crossed this one will not take forever. Another new start that I started just a couple weeks ago. It was released at the end of June. This is designed by Rebel Stitcher. When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. Duty. So that's just the cover picture for it. It did not have any called for colors, but I was definitely feeling the red, especially when I went through my material or my fabric thread stash, and I came up with Dracula from Color and Cotton. This is stitched on a piece of 20 count Color and Cotton, another grab bag piece, and we're just around to the border. I haven't picked up I think I've worked on it twice since it was released, but the variegation in this Dracula is amazing. Like, which one is it? This berry, where'd it go? This one right here is actually split light and dark. That's coming up there, but it's just, you know, one skein of thread that's really pretty variegated, deeper reds to lighter, and I love that. So Dracula by Color and Cotton is a great red. So still on the Q-snap, planning on working on that again sometime. Finally started A Year in the Woods from Cottage Garden Samplings. This was like the 7th release that came out, and yep, it is number 7, and it was my first one that I had to start. So bald eagle, if you know me at all, you know that bald eagles are my jam. 16 count Bestitch Me. Again, I don't remember the name of it. If you are curious, put a comment below and I will get the tag out to find out. I bought the Bestitch Me has a bundle for sale on their website. It's, you know, dyed to order type of thing, so it takes a few weeks. I think mine took me almost 2 months to get. No big deal, I wasn't in a huge hurry for it. But they had it's called, on the website, it's called Woodland Bundle. So it is their version of the called for colors that are perfect for this. They do look slightly different from like the called for colors, but I'm not mad about it. So again, this is probably 2 sessions worth of sitting and stitching and going for called for colors on this one. So I am planning, it is big enough, I've got it all rolled up to fit the 3. So this is number 7, so 6 and 8 will go on here. So the last one that came out was the owl, right? So the owl will go on here. I can't remember the order of all of them, but I love that entire series, even though I'm not big on ferrets. That one's still cute. I'll stitch it just because I love the entire series, but I really cannot stand ferrets. The swans are pretty cool, but they're not my favorite either. I know the bear is going to be so cool to stitch. The raccoon looks awesome. The fox, of course. Next project to share. I'm pretty sure I shared this in a recent video. I don't remember if I did or not. I know just the other day I noticed that I haven't shared it on Instagram lately. I don't post every day that I'm stitching or something on there, but so this was published in August of 2017, just cross stitch. I started it probably back in around 17 because I remember having an instant love for this piece. I believe it's called Bergamo Borders, how I'm pronouncing it anyways. I love those. See if I can hold it. I love the different bands. They're just really cool. I am using the DMC. Stitched on a piece of 16 count white Aida, 2 strands, just plain white Aida. I'm pretty sure I started this one before I was really into the dyed materials and everything, so which I don't think this piece really calls for having a dyed material anyways. So that is filling in there. That is going to be the navy, but again, the challenge that I'm doing in semi-sand stitchers, it was easy to just work that entire band all the way across with the black. So I think I'm planning on completing 1 color at a time across. I mean, the whole project only has 3 colors, but I like being able to work 1 color at a time across that entire band. So this sat for a long time. It was just in my bin, just really not having any interest to work on it. I've pulled it out again and it's kind of renewed my enjoyment of the piece. So I'm liking working on that one. It's gonna be decent size too. I mean, that's the bottom border and I'm sure I probably had close to 3-inch borders on it. But it's perfectly fit in my 11-inch Q-snap because I don't have to move it to, I mean, it's a little close over here, but not bad enough that I'd have to move it to be able to stitch over there. Alrighty, so the rest of the pieces that I'm going to share are my full coverage. And if you know me at all, I love full coverage. I remember, and I might have told you this before, but I was getting the materials for that fractal from Deb at Stitches and Things. That gal will stitch on 40 count gauze. So she's, you know, stitching on this little gauze stuff. When I was telling her about that fractal that I wanted to stitch, she says that stitching a full coverage would make her go running into the night. So I still remember that. That was quite some time ago that she told me that. I just found it to be really funny. Bear with me. I'm going to move the camera just slightly so that you can be able to see because that fractal is amazing. There we go. Okay, camera's going back down. I finished stitching that 2016 maybe? Something like that. All right, moving right along. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 more WIPs to share, so it's kind of crazy. We are definitely moving right along, and like I said, I really hope that I'm getting this finished before construction crew comes back. I know I just heard a car start, but I'm still hoping that I can get through the rest of these pieces before construction returns. Excuse me while I got ice. This was a complete, total spur of the moment start earlier this year. There was one day that I was watching Leanne at Small Town Stitches, and she has multiple pieces on the go from Heaven and Earth Designs, the artist Donna Gelsinger. And so there was just one Saturday that I think I stopped her video to go look at the artwork and to see what else is out there, and found the material, pulled the threads, started. Spur of the moment. This is Mini Serenity Lane, artwork by Donna Gelsinger, charted by Heaven and Earth. And in terms of the number of pages, this is my smallest page-wise. I think there's like 12 pages total in this. I have not yet finished a page, but I'm loving this piece. I pulled it off the Q-snap and just kind of dropped it in a bag without really unrolling it, so we're gonna go with it. All of the rest of the materials, 16 count white Aida, 2 strands full cross, as I do my full coverage specifically. So that is page 1, slowly getting into page 2, and then I think whatever page is down here below. I don't remember what page number that is, but that is the top left corner. Starting to get, you can really see the steeple in there from, I'm assuming that's a church with a steeple, but that looks so cool. I love the dimensions of these trees. It definitely looks, you know, when you're stitching on it, it looks like just little blobs, but seeing it on camera like this, I'm loving it. So need to get back to that one again soon. Alrighty, another spur of the moment design. I remember showing my sister something on the website Pain Free Crafts, and I can't remember now what it was that I showed her, but I started looking through the website after showing that, came across this one, decided I had to have it, and I quickly started it. It is called Dragonfly Clock, artwork by Marine Loop, I believe is how it's pronounced, and again charted by Pain Free Crafts. I'm still just in this upper left hand corner, but I've really finally started working on that leaf, getting that filled in, and it was so cool to be able to get to something darker than all those creams and greens, you know, the light greens and beiges over here. So because I'm using Pattern Keeper on this one, I definitely strayed a lot more than just staying in a single page. Like when I showed Serenity, I, you know, would drop down below, I would move, you know, to the next page or whatever, but I didn't stray too far past. It was one of those things of, I'll, you know, let the thread run out maybe, or just get a few stitches past and then I'll move on. But this one, because of all of the confetti, I just kept working, and it's really been cool to see that leaf really come to life, and I cannot wait to start getting into the flower in here. I know that rose is gonna start filling in there. This portion around the leaf is all filled in. That is pretty much all done. There might be a couple scattered stitches. The leaf is getting there. There's still some stitches, but not as bad as one time I showed it before, I guess. So again, Dragonfly Clock. Alrighty, moving on. This is a particular favorite from somebody that I know watches me quite regularly, Shadow, if you're watching. Mini Dark Goddess. Artwork is by Carol Cavallaris, charted by Hayden. Not looking like a whole lot at the moment because it's all on my Q-snap, but the first, you know, the top row of pages is completed. I forget now what page number I'm working on. My tablet that I use for Pattern Keeper's out of reach. So, so this is the second row of pages that I've started working, and I've really just started working on this. So last time I shared it would have been the entire, you know, top row of pages completed. I've moved down and just really starting to fill in more purple. So Shadow, I know it doesn't look like a whole lot, but there's your update. I know you are always wanting to see one, so there you go. we are definitely zooming right along because we just hit 35 minutes and my last WIP. Mini Dark Goddess, no, I just said Mini Dark Goddess. Mini Midnight Messenger, artwork by Ann Stokes, charted by Hayden. I try to say this every time I talk about it, but if you're looking for this pattern on Heaven and Earth's website, Messenger is spelled Messanger. I guess it was a typo. I love this owl. I cannot wait to get down to there. But we're still on that top row. I have not given this the attention lately that I kind of really started the year out on. We're still finishing up. I think this is going to be page 3 and then 4 beside it, if I remember right. The last page is not very wide. It's, you know, so the corner is somewhere on here, but I just haven't gone that far yet. Just plugging away on that background. I was so glad to get the girl all stitched up. That face definitely had me a little worried for a little bit because it just was looking like some really bright pinks, but more so seeing it from a distance as well as just seeing it on camera definitely helped to settle that confetti. So I love Pattern Keeper. I'm so glad that I finally broke down and got a different tablet for it. I know that there's another app out there, Markup XP. I've used it a little bit. I ended up deleting it, even though I paid for it, until they really get some of the new updates in, because when I first started it, all I could see was one page at a time. So I was still having to flip to go to, you know, page 2. So if I'm working side by side type of things, it just wasn't working. The biggest annoyance, and I really hope that they fix this by now. If not, I hope it's to come. I was having to input all of the color symbols myself. Literally by looking at the pattern, I would select a symbol, put in which DMC color number it was, and then move on. So if a color symbol wasn't on a page, then I'd have to do it, you know, through all of the different pages, and it was getting to be a pain. So that's when I decided to break down and get an Android tablet to be able to get Pattern Keeper. But just working on the confetti has been an amazing process. Like specifically the Dragonfly Clock, working in that leaf. When I was using paper patterns before, which, you know, to me, I worked it quite well. I had quite a system down for it. But you would still have what would be, you know, I think the term is ninja stitch. So it's a stitch that's hiding, you know, hiding in broad daylight, where you're working on a symbol and it just easily blends in with something else. So you get your thread put away just to look down and there's another symbol that you just missed. Pattern Keeper takes that all away for you because it highlights everything. So it was amazing to really get into the confetti because of it. I also ended up buying Halloween Quaker as a PDF, even though I have the paper pattern for that one. I got it into Pattern Keeper enough for the basics stitches. You can't use Pattern Keeper for back stitching, but especially it really came in handy when I was working on that haunted house, you know, the town, because of back and forth pages. That was just getting me off a little bit. So Pattern Keeper is definitely a lifesaver for multiple reasons, but I'm glad I converted. For the longest time I was holding off saying, no, it'll come to Apple, I'm fine. I'm making it work for other stuff. I'm glad that I got it. So. Well, that is all of my WIPs. I cannot believe I was able to share all of those WIPs in less time than what my video took me to do last week. So I'm hoping that that means that I can get this uploaded in a reasonable amount of time. So with that, I'm going to go get to stitching. I've got dinner plans tonight, but before that, I'm just gonna hang out and stitch. It is just before 1 p.m. and so I got the afternoon and it's gonna be filled with stitching. So I hope everyone is doing well, stay safe, and keep stitching. We'll see you again next time. Bye, everybody.